How good was a prime Dwyane Wade? I think people forget about how good Dwyane Wade of the Miami Heat was. Let's look at some of his accomplishments. Number one, he's a three-time NBA champion. Okay, and he won a ring before LeBron got there. In the 2006 finals against the Dallas Mavericks, sometimes people may forget that Dallas was up 2-0 against Miami. In that final series, Dwyane Wade averaged around 34.7 points and around 7.5 assists a game. So he was putting up great numbers. Listed at around 6'4", he was super athletic. According to some information I found online, he had about a 35-inch vert, but he had around a 6'10 to 6'11 wingspan. So he definitely played a lot bigger than what he was. He was an excellent defender. He had a great mid-range game, and he was excellent rim attacker and slasher. He was unbelievably fast too. That's how he got the nickname The Flash from Shaquille O'Neal. And so let's look at some of Dwyane Wade's best seasons and what he accomplished. So in his 16-year career, he was a 13-time All-Star, all right? So the majority of his career, he was an All-Star. And he leads the Heat in so many different stats. But let's take a look here. In the 2008-2009 season, Dwyane Wade averaged around 30 points. He averaged around 7.5 assists, around 5 rebounds, around 2 steals, and around 1 block a game. Let me go through those numbers again. He was averaging around 30 points a game, 7.5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block as a shooting guard. In addition to that, he was third in MVP voting, and he was third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Those are some ridiculous numbers. He probably should have got the MVP that year. But, Anyhow, let's take a look at his 05-06 season, the year that the Miami Heat won a championship. He was averaging around 27 points a game, around 7 rebounds, and around 6 assists. Again, he was averaging around 27 points, around 7 rebounds, and around 6 assists. Around those numbers. So again, those are some ridiculously good numbers for a shooting guard. Like I said again, in the finals, he averaged around 35 points, 8 rebounds, and about 4 assists in the finals when the Miami Heat beat the Dallas Mavericks. All right? But what about when LeBron came? Well, let's look at the season he had before LeBron came. You may not realize, but when LeBron went to Miami, Dwyane Wade at that time was arguably a top 5 player in the NBA. At worst, maybe top 7. But he was definitely up there. So when LeBron teamed up with him, he was joining another top 5, top 7 player. All right? So in the 2009-2010 season, before LeBron, Dwyane Wade was averaging around 27 points. He averaged around 8 assists. He averaged around 5 rebounds. And he averaged around 2 steals a game. Again, around 27 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. All right? The first year with LeBron in the 2010-2011 season, he still averaged around 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and about 1.5 steals a game. Again, around 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and he's getting you anywhere from 1 to 2 steals a game on average. All right? And like I said again, he's a 3-time NBA champ. He's a Finals MVP, 13-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defensive Team. The Miami Heat probably could have won more rings with him. So there was a year, I remember, he had a rib injury, and this was the year that Miami lost to Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals. That was the year Detroit, I think that was in 05, and that's the year Detroit ended up playing the San Antonio Spurs, and they lost in Game 7. But had Dwyane Wade not had that rib injury, there's a case to be made that the Miami Heat probably would have beat the Detroit Pistons that year. But he had some type of a rib injury, and he couldn't risk. I forget the technicalities of it, but he was definitely limited because of that injury. So had he not been injured, it's possible that Miami Heat would have played the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals. And who knows, maybe Miami would have beat the Spurs in that series. But, we'll never know. It's just hypothetical. But what's not a hypothetical is he is a 13-time All-Star. He was the 2008-2009 scoring champ. He finished third in MVP voting in that year, and he was also third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. And people forget, you know, throughout his career, he's averaging around 22 points, about 5 rebounds, and about 5 assists. He's around those numbers, and that's his career. Towards the later end of his career, when some of his athleticism kind of waned off, he kind of waned a little. But people forget about in his prime peak years just how good a prime Dwyane Wade was. There's a reason that, you know, James went to Miami to play with him, because again, he was joining up with another top 5 player, top 7 at the worst. And Dwyane Wade was clutch, you know, down the clutch, you would put the ball in his hands because he'd hit those big jumpers, he'd get to the rim. He's definitely underrated. People don't talk about him enough and what he accomplished. But this video is just to talk about sports more than what the casual fans talk about. Most casual fans just talk about, you know, the top popular players, but this channel is about exploring all the great players and what they've accomplished, and not just talking about 1 or 2 players as though the whole NBA revolved around 1 or 2 guys. Thank you so much for your time.